Good afternoon, groovy citizens, and happy winning Wednesday. So listen, y'all, I know it's a little late in the day, but my day was busy, and as long as I get it done, that's all that matters. So I hope you all have had a wonderful day. I know I certainly have, even though I had physical therapy today. And as you know, physical therapy is never fun. I think I leave out in more pain than when I walked in. However, it is going to help with strengthening my left knee and my right ankle, which I told you all got sprained in the car accident that I was in last month. So other than that, today has been a great day, because y'all know what, I wake up every day and I tell myself today is going to be a great day no matter what. And I tell everybody that I come in contact with, if they say, man, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other, I'll say, but you know what, today's going to be a great day anyhow. So I hope you all have had a wonderful day. Hopefully you all were able to get out and get things done that you needed to take care of. And now you can just rest the rest of the evening. And listen, right now, my dashboard says that it is 86 degrees. Do you all know when I pulled into the parking lot for my physical therapy appointment, that thing said it was 93 degrees. When I tell you it's hot, I had on my air conditioning. Matter of fact, I have it on now, only because all the pollen and the bees and stuff are out, because we have azaleas in the yard and it draws a lot of bees, the big fat bees, the little small ones, and I just don't have time for it. So I decided to roll up my window and cut my air conditioning on. Now, let's jump into today's topic, y'all, because, ooh, this is a juicy one. Oh, my goodness, this is so juicy. The topic is, there can be no change without disruption. Y'all, that'll shout you right there. That will shout you right there, honey. We can pass the collection plate, give the benediction, and go on home, because there can be no change without disruption. Let me break it down for you. And so the quote that I'm going to share with you is by Bishop T.D. Jakes. And he says, we have a difficult time accepting change because we are so in love with what was, come on now, that we're not willing to explore what is. Now, I felt it. I felt a shift just now. See, I stepped on somebody's toes. Can I say that one more time? We have a difficult time accepting change because we are so in love. He didn't say we're so in like. He said we are so in love with what was that we're not willing to explore what is. And I'm going to tell you what just came to my mind. This whole COVID situation. There are so many people reminiscing about what they did prior to COVID that they can't find it in them to start thinking differently and doing things differently. And a lot of people want to go back to what was, which is why every now and then I believe you see a spike in the number of new cases of COVID. So we have got to get out of the mindset of loving what was so much that we can't explore new options. Some of y'all, I don't know who I'm talking to, but some of y'all are so in love with what was with Carl that you can't imagine life without him. Mind you, Carl has moved on with somebody else and he's not even thinking about you, but you can't stop thinking about what was with Carl to move on, let's say with Craig. Honey, let me tell you something. Carl wanted to leave, let him go. Let that raggedy muffin go on somewhere by him, that blueberry muffin, go on wherever he is, and you start something new over here. Stop worrying about what was. And then he says, and so there we are in a situation where God has allowed something to come and crush our normal and get us out of our normal, and all of a sudden we are afraid. See, when God disrupts your normal, we become afraid, because we're thinking, oh, wait a minute, I'm so used to doing whatever that thing is, and God has disrupted that thing. Now it's like, Lord, what am I going to do? I have no idea what to do. Tell you what you're going to do. You're going to take a deep breath, ask God, what is it that he would have for you to do? You're going to listen, and then you're going to move forward and do whatever it is that you have to do, or whatever God is telling you to do. Again, stop getting caught up in what was, and you're afraid to find a new normal, because as you can see, that because of COVID, we've had to find a new normal way of doing things. Am I right? For the last 3 years. So y'all better listen. He says, never realizing that what's in front of you is always better than what's behind you. Whenever God disrupts you, it's only because he's got something better for you. That's your shout moment. You missed it. So I'm going to say it one more time. Never realizing that what's in front of you is always better than what's behind you. Whenever God disrupts you, it's only because he's got something better for you. Do you know that when God disrupts that relationship, that job, where you live, that car that you're driving, and you are caught up with what was, but you're not realizing that God's got something better for you. He's got a better person that he wants to put in your life that's truly meant for you. He's got a much better job that has potential to really grow. Come on, somebody. He's got a better way for you to bring in new finances. He's got a better way for you to run your business. He's got a bigger and better house for you. Whatever that thing is that God has disrupted, I need you all to understand that he's doing it for a reason. See, God doesn't just do things because he wants to see us suffer and he wants to just cause disruption in our lives. No, he does things because he has something better for us. And I've talked about this before. He can't give you better when you won't let go of what was. When your hands are full, he can't give you better because you have no way to receive it. It's only when he removes what was that your hands are now free to accept what is. And then he says, God has spoken to all of us by saying, when you pray for change, when you pray for change, I always answer with disruption. I definitely need to say that because that will shout you right there. God has spoken to all of us. And when I say all of us, I mean all of us. Some of y'all think, oh, he didn't speak to me. But that's probably because you weren't quiet and you couldn't hear. That's why I say when you talk to God and you ask him to do things or you ask him for something, I need you to zip this, be quiet and listen because he's speaking. But he says when God has spoken to all of us by saying, when you pray for change, I always answer with disruption. So when you pray and you say, Lord, I'm in this job that's not taking me anywhere. Lord, I need you to change it. I need you to fix it. I need you to send on opportunities. God says, okay, I'm going to do all of that because that's what you asked for me. The Bible says you have not. Why? Because you ask not. So you've asked me and I'm going to grant that to you. But I'm going to cause some disruption in order for you to get it. So see, God had to disrupt the atmosphere to move you out of job A so he can get you into job B. And then some of y'all sit there and go, well, Lord, wait a minute, I didn't ask for this. Yes, you did. You said, God, you asked God for change, new opportunities, better pay, all of that other good stuff, better benefits. And he said, okay, I'm going to give that to you. But guess what? It's going to come at a price. I'm going to cause some disruption in your life by allowing this job to go by the wayside so that I can put you over here. See, this job is down here, but what you want is up here. So you've got to stop being afraid. And you've got to you have to stop trying to control God and how he's going to bless you. First of all, you can't anyway. So stop trying. Sit back, relax, and trust that God has your back. He's not going to set you up for failure. Has God ever set you up for failure? Now, you have set yourself up for failure, but God doesn't set you up for failure. So just remember that. And then it says, because you cannot have change without disruption. If you plant an oak tree in the earth, it's going to disrupt the soil. If you plant a peach tree in the soil, it's going to disrupt the ground. Come on, somebody. You plant your peach seeds into the ground. In order for that tree to come up, it's got to disrupt the soil so that it can come through the soil and grow. And that's why you start out with a little itty bitty seed, and now you have a tree with a base that's about this wide. It had to disrupt the soil so that it can come up and do some great things, or do whatever it is that you needed it for you to do. He says, wait a minute, hold on. There's no way you have growth without disruption. Don't let the disruption become a distraction. I'm going to say it again because somebody in the back of the room didn't hear me. Don't let the disruption become a distraction. Some of you all get caught up in the wrong things, and you allow that disruption to distract you from what it is that God is trying to do for you. So, and I get it. If it's a relationship and that relationship doesn't work out, you're sad, you're crying, you're balled up in the corner, in the closet, on the couch, wherever it is you want to be. And you're sad. You have every right to, because you thought that relationship was going somewhere. God disrupted that relationship because he knew that was not the person for you. But had he not disrupted that relationship, had he not disrupted your job, then you couldn't get what's better over here, because you're trying to live right here where it's comfortable. And God says, I'm about to disrupt all of that, because I have the blessing you've been asking me for. So you want that blessing right there. And God is saying, nope, I'm going to give it to you, but you've got to go over here in order to get it. God did not call us to solve the disruption. He sent the disruption in answer to our request for change. I said that earlier, did I not? God is not trying to hurt you. He's not trying to hurt me. That's never his intention. But in order for you to get change, he's got to disrupt what you're accustomed to. He has to disrupt what is comfortable for you. Otherwise, you will not step out on faith to seek what it is that you've been asking God for. And then he says, in every disruption, there will always be an opportunity. Again, that's another shouting moment. He didn't say in some, in a few, but he said in every disruption, there will always, not sometimes, but always be an opportunity. So let me say this. If you're going through some type of disruption in your life right now, maybe your finances, maybe your job, your relationship, your home, your children, whatever it is, just know that there is an opportunity there. But if you don't open your mind, you're going to miss it. If you don't open your eyes, because sometimes it's not about what we can see. Because see, we miss things. I have corrected vision, as you can see, and sometimes I still miss things. But when I open up my mind's eye, then I can say, Lord, now I see what you were trying to show me. Now I see what you were trying to tell me. But with me trying to use these right here, it wasn't going to happen. He goes on to say, don't fail to prepare for what's next because you're trying to get what was. I'm going to say that one more time. Don't fail to prepare for what's next because you're trying to get what was. Some of you all are not ready. You want it, but you want what's next, but you're not prepared because you're trying to get what you had. And you figure, well, I've already had that, so I don't need to do anything else. So you're not prepared. That's why when I go to God in prayer, during my moments of prayer meditation, and I ask God what it is I'm looking for, trust and believe I've already started preparing myself mentally and where I can physically for that thing that I've asked God for. See, I'm preparing for it. I'm not sitting back trying to get what was, because I don't want what was. I don't want what was. I'm preparing for what is to come, and I need you all to do the same thing. So I'm going to share these 4 tips for handling life's disruptions, and then I'll let you be. Number 1, reevaluate your short and long-term priorities. See, life seldomly gives us the luxury of remaining static. Now is a good time to reevaluate your priorities and align your energy and time to those priorities. You know, when you experience disruptions in your life, that's when you definitely need to go back and look at your long-term and your short-term goals. Because I promise you, some of the things that you wanted to do, you may not get to do them. Some of the things that you wanted to do may not even be relevant anymore. So when you have a disruption, the first thing you need to do, well, after you pray about it, of course, is go back and reevaluate what your short-term and your long-term goals are. Because once you narrow it down, so maybe you have 20, and you go back and look at that list and you narrow it down to only 5, that's workable. And now you can begin to prioritize with those 5. Number 2, don't let it all fall apart. So when a disruption forces you to drop things, or you simply run out of time, choose your casualties with care. Okay, don't let everything fall apart. Don't drop the whole basket. Y'all know that old saying about putting all your eggs in one basket. Don't drop the whole basket and end up ruining everything. You need to choose your casualties with care. Okay, and all of this will be in the description box. Number 3, let people around you know about your situation. Now, I'm going to say this. When I say let people around you know about your situation, I'm not talking about going out telling the whole world. You don't have to put it on social media, but you should have somebody that you can talk to. I'm thankful that I have a small, tight-knit inner circle that I can talk to when things come up in my life, because I know that what I say with them stays with them, just like what they say to me stays with me. So be careful about telling everybody, but you should have somebody that you can talk to. And you would be surprised at how understanding and how supportive people can be when you open up to them. See, I think a lot of times we want to stay closed up and we don't want anybody to know what's going on in our lives because we don't want people to think we're failures, and we don't want them to think that we're not all of that and then some, because maybe you're not. And it's all right. It's not the end of the world. But when you keep everything to yourself, that's how sometimes people just lose it. You have people taking their lives and just, so many different things that you don't have to go through. You should have a support group, or at least one person that you can connect with and let them know. Be open and honest about what's going on in your life. Because I promise you, they've either experienced it, they know somebody's experienced it, that has experienced it, but I promise you this, somebody in that group or whoever you tell, they will be able to coach you through it because they've been down that road. But if you don't open your mouth, again, a closed mouth won't get fed. You'll never know. And number 4, adapt your processes. Visualize your past few days and answer these questions. I have 3 questions. If you think over your last few days, I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, where did you go? Where did you go? Number 2, what did you do? And number 3, how did you do what you did? So you may have to change the way you do these things. That's why I asked that question, or I put that in there. Over the last few days, think about the things that you've done, and then ask yourself those 3 questions. Where did you go? What did you do? And how did you do what you did? Because you may need to rearrange how you do those things. Because remember, we're talking about when disruptions come up in our lives. So it's important that you know these things so you can make the changes where you need to make them. So hopefully something I said today will sit with you and help you to figure out what you need to do when a disruption comes, because as I said, there can be no change without disruption. So if you think you're going to go through this life and everything is just going to be handed to you on a silver platter and you're not going to experience anything, honey, it doesn't work that way. I wish it did, but it just doesn't. You cannot have change without disruption. There's no 2 ways about it. Now, I know somebody's thinking, well, I had change. I did this, I did that, I did the other. But if you really, 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 really dig deep and think back to getting to where you are now, there was some disruptions. You may have not really thought about them much, or you brushed them off and chose to forget about them, but you had some disruptions, because God cannot bless you without creating some disruption in your life. And again, it's not to hurt you. It really is not. It is, a lot of times, I'm gonna be honest with you, I believe that God causes disruptions, number 1, because he's testing our faith. He wants to know, can I trust Michelle? Can I trust Billy? Can I trust Bob? Can I trust Carol Ann? Or whatever your name may be. He needs to know that he can trust you. He needs to know that you know how to call on him. See, all of us can thank God when things are going great, but can you call on him when they're not going so great? But also the third thing, I think he causes disruptions because if he didn't, too many of you remember when you were a kid and you had a wagon and you're pulling your little wagon behind you? Too many of you have old things in that wagon, and you're asking God for new things, but you're trying to pull that wagon of old things with you. And so he's got to create a disruption so you can let that old stuff go, so that you can you can get away from trying to keep the normalcy in your life. If you want something new, you're going to have to go through disruptions in order to get it. But again, remember, do not forget that God is not causing these disruptions because he wants to make your life miserable. He's allowing these disruptions so that he can make you better, so that he can give you better. Because as I talked about, if you plant a peach seed, in order for that peach tree to grow, it's got to disrupt the soil, i.e., meaning that it's got to sprout through the soil in order for it to grow big and for you to get your peaches, okay? You can't get peaches if you plant that seed in the ground and that's it. Where your peach is going to grow, below ground? I don't think so. So you have to have the disruptions in order for you to have change. So that's it. Hopefully something I said resonates with you, helps you as you move forward with dealing with the disruptions, say that 3 times fast, in your life. Because I know some of you are probably thinking, Lord, why me? We've talked about that before too. Why not you? Who would you suggest? Again, God picked you because he knew you could handle it. He picked you because you're worthy, and he's got something much better for you. You just have to go through the process. Stop trying to backtrack, keep moving forward, and you'll get there. If you're new to watching my videos, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I do car conversations every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So make sure you come back on Friday for another motivational moment with me. And if you wonder why I call it car conversations, well, look around, because I'm sitting in my truck, i.e. my car, and that's why I call it car conversations. And if this is not your first rodeo, I want to say welcome back. Y'all know I miss you when I don't get a chance to see you. Go out there, enjoy the rest of this beautiful evening. Again, right now it's 86 degrees and it feels good outside. It's low on the warm side. Matter of fact, I've had my ceiling fan on all day long, but I would rather have this than cold and rain and snow any day of the week, okay? Go out there, enjoy the rest of your evening, have fun, be safe no matter what you choose to do. Please be safe. I'm asking you all to please be safe, because I want you to be safe as you have fun. You all know the drill, you know the spiel. I love you to the moon and back, and there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, that you can ever do to change that, because I'm always going to love you. I love you. I care about you. I want nothing but the best for you, and I want you all to succeed. I want you to succeed at whatever it is that you want to do in life, but I want you to know that the disruptions will come, but they are not there to hurt you, but only to make you better. I love you all, and we'll talk again on Friday. Until then, take care.